For this Basecamp adventure, we face into the Arctic blast of December 2022. We hike into the frozen landscapes of the Carnevi in search of ancient monuments long forgotten. We walk on deserted pebble beaches to become intoxicated by the sounds of the ocean, and we get to test the Basecamp in frozen conditions. Join us on this chilly Basecamp adventure. For this trip, we return to the beautiful Plas Farm, where that unique and realistic rural experience in a traditional farmyard setting attracts us back time and time again. Not only for their pristine, large, fully serviced pitches, but for their location in the rolling Welsh countryside, where that combination of nature and farmyard ambience offer a truly relaxing experience. When I arrived to my allocated pitch, I set myself up to practice my reversing as usual. This manoeuvre was slightly more technical than I'm used to. Firstly, because I need to turn the caravan 90 degrees, but also there's very limited swing available to get the car around. However, putting into practice the learnings from previous failings, I broadly get the Basecamp where I need it to be, and finish up using the best gadget in the world, which is of course the motor mover, to put it squarely on its pitch. Before I can make progress on setting up the Basecamp, I must take the dog for a quick walk first. Fortunately, Plas Farm have an allocated dog walk. This short woodland walk covers the circumference of the park. On returning to the Basecamp, it's time to fit the awning. For this trip, I am using the Camper Dometic 200 awning, as the Vango RVA2 is in for repair after getting damaged in the Lake District a few weeks back. So here we are on our pitch in Plas Farm in North Wales. A completely unplanned trip. Long story short, I've been working away and my wife has contracted COVID and she's quite sick. So I've had to come home from work, pack the Basecamp and just head straight out as we're trying to protect Christmas. Big family Christmas planned, so we're protecting Christmas. So the dog and I are away for 4 days at least. So I'm on a fully serviced pitch as usual. So I've got a direct water supply into the Aquaroll, and then of course I've got the grey water connected. However, I'm going to have to be a bit flexible on this pitch because we've got some very cold weather coming in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm going to have to disconnect the water at night time, and I'll use my windscreen thermal cover to cover the Aquaroll at night to try and protect frosting as much as possible. As we come round, the usual setup. The only difference is I've got the Camper Dometic 200 awning on the back. The RVA2 is in for repair after getting absolutely battered in the Lake District a couple of weeks ago. Now this awning, this is a 4-season awning. This awning will stand up to the elements, providing the storm straps on it. So I've taken the guidelines off, I've got the storm straps on, and one other hack as well is I've put heavy duty springs on the bottom here between the peg and the strap. So providing they're on and we're on a good pitch, that awning will take an absolute pounding. Come inside. So much smaller footprint than the RVA2, but for couples or one man and his dog, this is a great little awning. And obviously I've got the usual carpet down, which is, the carpet is the specific carpet for this awning. Got the steps, and as we go in, got the dog. She's in standby mode. We're going to go for a walk shortly. All the usual setup. I've got a lovely view out the window into the valleys beyond. So, no particular plans for this. We'll just play it by ear and see how we get on. A short drive from Plas Farm campsite is Llandilas Beach. The joy of being by the sea and simply staring out to the open ocean has the intoxicating effect of luring the mind into a meditative state. Listening to the ebb and flow of the waves and the swell of the sea naturally soothes and relaxes the mindset. The joy of discovering that small little find, or that quiet place to sit and reflect. Either way, the dog clearly enjoys it too. So we're back from our walk on Llandilas Beach. Always a nice walk. Always a gorgeous walk on that beach, no matter what the weather. Don't think we'll get much more out the dog this evening, so the plan for the rest of the evening is, got a nice bottle of red there with my name on it, so I'm going to crack that open, get some Netflix on. The dog and I'll watch, get some Netflix on the TV. In fact, the dog's watched hours and hours and hours of Netflix without realising it. And then for dinner, because this was a bit of an emergency outing, I'm on emergency food, so I've got lots of tins there of hot pot, stew, casserole, that sort of stuff. So we'll get a casserole on for dinner and then chill out. Get an early night, as no matter what the weather's doing tomorrow, we're going to get a full day's hiking in somewhere. We welcome the morning in with a cold and frosty start, presenting us with beautiful wintry scenes. So the plan for today is we're going to go hiking on the North Wales coast path up on the foothills of the Carneddau. So I've got a 5 mile out and return, to 5 miles out and 5 miles back to Druid Circle near the Carneddau. So, but before we do that, let's get the bacon butties on. So I've got the bacon on. The dog just never too far away. Don't you worry, dog. That little bit on the side's got your name on it. Our hike starts from the Suchnant Pass, which is one of Conwy's best kept secrets and the northernmost pass in the Snowdonia National Park. From here, the footpaths entice explorers along the foothills and towards the higher peaks of the Carneddau. Just under 4 miles to go and the view is really opening up. Absolutely stunning. Cold, crispy hiking, hard to beat. The Druid Circle is an ancient stone monument located on Penmaen Mawr. Despite the name, this stone circle predates the Druids and the Celtic religion by millennia and may be up to 5,000 years old. It is thought to be the oldest stone circle in Wales. Excavations in 1957 found the cremated remains of a child, and with that in mind, it makes the area feel rather eerie. Found on the majority of the summits across the Carneddau are these stone shelters. They have been created from the remains of Bronze Age burial monuments, which means these monuments have sadly been naively vandalised. Our hike comes to a close at these two pillars, which were built to mark the start of the Jubilee path around Voel and were opened in 1888 to commemorate the Jubilee of Queen Victoria. After all that snow, ice and mud, the poor dog must endure another Basecamp external shower. So we're just back from our walk. What a fantastic walk that was in the snow to Druid Circle. Absolutely amazing walk. The dog looking a bit damp after her external shower. She's not quite decided whether she's in the mood with me or not just yet. So the plan for tonight, I'm going to cook a pasta dish. Got some pasta lined up ready. Got some pasta. Got a tin of olives in here somewhere. Yeah, a tin of olives in there. Tin of tomatoes in there somewhere as well. So I'll knock up some sort of pasta dinner and then we'll get a film on. And it's actually a work day tomorrow. I'm working, so the base camp tomorrow will be an office. But with all this beautiful countryside around, I'm sure we can make some time to get in some nice walks for the dog as well. So I'm cooking up a base camp pasta special. I'm absolutely starving. And don't you worry, sleepyhead. There'll be a bit there for you as always.
Screen, for obvious reasons, that's why they call it a split screen, because it's got two individual screens that's on there. If my history serves correct, I think the reason...
So it's 10 o'clock at night. It's -3. You can see there's ice forming on the caravan. It's going to be a cold night tonight. Inside the awning too. All iced stuff. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a cold one tonight. The temperature during the night fell to -7 and we awoke to a beautiful crispy morning. So it was a cold night last night. Right now, 8:30 in the morning, it is -4. So it was a cold night. The Acarol cover kept the Acarol from freezing. I did disconnect the hose pipe and drain the water off before putting it back on the tap and then turn the tap off. And I did the same with the grey pipe. I made sure that there was no grey water in the pipe either. So my Acarol didn't freeze, so my little makeshift cover worked. What I'm finding it sort of these kind of temperatures, it is at the comfort level of the base camp, -4, -5. It's just about comfortable temperature wise. But that said, I absolutely love cold, frosty mornings. I spend the next couple of days working remotely from the base camp, whilst taking in the time to enjoy the surrounding countryside and landscapes within the park itself. There truly is nothing more relaxing than the sounds of nature. and whilst working, being sure not to ignore my bestest friend ever. But with an office view this stunning, it was very hard not to be distracted anyway. A 10-minute drive from Plas Farm is the shale beach of Penzarn. And during our visit, we were lucky enough to see cormorants spreading their wings whilst perched on a sea defence. The reason they do this is because their feathers are not naturally waterproof, so they have to dry their wings after they've been fishing. As the sun begins to set on our fourth evening and the freezing chill in the air returns, bringing the crispiness to the leaves and the frost to the base camp, I learn from home that my wife is now testing negative for COVID, so this will be our last evening. So, the wife has tested negative for COVID, so this is our last night. We're going home in the morning, dog. That is one tired doggy. So the plan for this evening is I've got a local Welsh ale, Double Dragon, the national ale of Wales. I've prepared some crackers, cheese and ham, and we're going to get Netflix on. The dog will no doubt sleep through another film, and I need to be out of here early doors tomorrow morning to get back home in time for my first call. During the night, the temperatures plummeted, and once again I awoke to a frozen base camp. Whilst I was packing away the awning, temperatures were -6, leading to some interesting negotiations with frozen poles. They say that spontaneous adventures are some of the best, and this was certainly one of them. During the vast majority of my time at Plas Farm, I was the only occupied caravan. This has given me a different sense, perspective and appreciation of rural life. In the sub-zero temperatures, the base camp performed exceptionally well. With the space heater on full power, the climate inside was toasty and warm, the only sacrifice being the noise of the mechanism itself. My only criticism would be that when I was using the caravan as an office, my feet were always cold. However, I can rectify that next time with a good pair of hut slippers. As the sun begins to break over the valley beyond and temperatures still well below zero, I prepare the base camp ready to be hitched to the car. And that brings to the end another epic base camp adventure. Thanks for watching.